Hello friends, on today's episode in Patrick's workshop, he's going to talk about how he installed the fenders, the tips and tricks that he has to offer you, and some of the challenges he faced and overcame to install them. Looks pretty good. The body lines are lining up nicely, so he took his time and made a nice job of it.
I've installed the passenger side fender. For the most part, it came out pretty good. I might have to do a little bit at the bottom, but right now I'm pretty happy with where it's at. Lines up quite well here. And looking at it from the back, lines up pretty good. Where I did have my share of struggles, so I had to adjust this quite a few times, same as the one inside the door here. I'll open the door so you guys can see that. In here, as well as I had to shim in here. You may not see it very well, but yeah, you might be able to see a little bit of it there. I had to shim that. There's a nut right in there, so I had to shim there. That was a bit of a challenge. The bottom, I had to shim it as well, down. So that took a bit of time. But, you know, to get these to line up pretty good, I had to do that, as well as to get it to move in and out. So did a lot of shimming there. This was about as tough to install as you can get. Again, like I said, I'm not done. But this piece was too far back. So I had to loosen everything I had installed. So I had to take the battery out, the battery tray, and all the bolts behind it. And I had to install 2 shims back here. And I know I had shimmed it at least once before. On my last go around, this time I put 2 shims in there. And I got it far enough in front that it would go. So the holes are pretty close. They're not perfect, but they're decent. I took this off, but it was marked quite well as to where I had to put it. So to get it to suck in, I had to put these bolts in and suck it in this way. So I'm not gonna put these bolts in till after, but like I said, I'll put body colored bolts there. And then I haven't tightened these up, this one or this one, but they're in place. Just waiting to put the other side on and then install the hinges and then get the hood on. So one step at a time, but it's coming along not too bad. Getting ready to do the driver's side. I taped off the edges. This is tape for this washer I have here, or a spacer. I've got the other spacers here. I had them marked. They go here. And again, I've done there. And I've got this ready. So I want to make sure I don't scratch anything. I probably will, but I'm trying to make sure I don't. So wish me luck. The other thing I wanted to show you is these are the clips for the moldings that go on the side of the car. There is really no way of putting this on. You can't reach it with the door open. You basically have to take the fender and loosen it off. So I've come up with another plan to do it. I will let you know if it's going to work, because I've looked online and there's no easy answer on it. All the rest of them you can get at from behind, right? I can get in here and I can feel it. You can see my finger there, so you can get those. Those are not difficult. It's just this back one on the fender on both sides. So I'll let you know. Hopefully it works, and that's probably a few months before I'll know, but I will kind of keep you informed on that. A bit more detail on installing the fender. I'll show you the line, the gap. It's not too bad. Pretty happy with it so far. One of the things you may or may not have seen is this. The way this works, it goes in here. There's a hole. There's a threaded part there. It goes in there and it bolts up to there like this. I'm not going to put it on. I put it on the passenger side. I'm not going to put it on now because I want them to paint in here. So I can just paint the bolt after. They can mask in here, so that should be fine. Like I said, so far. Panel gap's not too bad. Got it up here. Now what you do, what I always do, is I've already aligned this. This is all aligned, so that's fixed. So when I start putting the fender together, I start here, because now this is my fixed point. So now I got to adjust to that. So I do the back part first. That's taking a bit of time. Then I got to start bolting everything else together. I've got to put the bracket in here and then get it all lined up. It's gonna take a bit of time, but that's where I'm at so far. Yeah, and you'll see I've got all this ready to start bolting up. And what I'm gonna do to make sure I've got my position here right on both sides is I'm gonna take that, there's a gray piece that goes below the grill, between the grill and the bumper. It's silver. I'm gonna put that on there and just make sure it's where it needs to be. But so far so good. It's about an hour and a half I've been working on this fender so far. So like I said, not too bad, but a little bit more work, and hopefully I can get it to where it needs to be by the end of the day. Still working on the fender. It's coming along not too bad. I put some of the bolts on the front here and on here. I did again have to move this ahead, so I've got it shimmed at the bottom. If you can see it, probably not, but I did shim it there at the bottom to get the bolts to line up, but I'm pretty happy with it. I did put this in just to see if it would fit. It looks like it's gonna fit, but it shocked me. Not much shocks me, but this one did. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bolts holding this mount on. And I'm assuming, you know, in some cases it's holding multiple things, but that was a bit of a surprise. All right, I'm gonna say this is done. I've got the hood hinges set in place. They're pre-bolted down. Again, I used, you know, the drill bit trick to get them at least close. I do have some holes laid out in here already for the putting the hood on. It'll at least get me in the ballpark, but you know, having put everything back together, you know that there's going to be some changes. But yeah, I'm going to say that's done, ready for the next step of painting the inside of the hood, and really paint after I paint the inside of the hood is to set the hood on. But you can see, really, you know, I did a lot of painting, but you don't see a whole heck of a lot. When you open the door, you see a little bit in there, but you don't really see much other than that. So still happy with it. Even the front here, when I get it all together between the grill and then the cowl, I guess, or the bumper filler here and the bumper, you're not going to see any of that either. I did purchase new hood bumpers here. While they look good, they're different than these ones. These ones are 5/16 fine thread. These are 3/8 fine thread. So I had to drill the hole out just one little bit, and I had to get 2 3/8 fine thread nuts. So when you're doing this, if you got to buy them, get yourself an extra pair of 3/8 fine threads.